Okay, so in this video, we're going to be talking about stop losses. Now, basically, to keep it super simple, when you take an IFVG setup, you take it like this, right? So you wait for price. If you're taking a long, you wait for a bearish gap to get closed above right here, and a stop loss would be a candle close below the gap. So on the same time frame you enter on. So if you're on the 1 minute, you take this 1 minute entry, you would now not stop out until you got a 1 minute candle close below this box. Okay. Now here are some examples here. I have a TikTok and this kind of showed the importance of that. I entered long here, I believe, on my cursor, and price came up, missed my first trim by like 1 or 2 ticks, came back down. We wicked, look at this, we wicked 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We also wicked where my stop loss would be because it's under the gap. I didn't stop out because there was no candle close. And price, eventually came in reverse and actually hit my TP. So very, very important that you stick to the rules. You don't stop out too early. You don't get manipulated because price is going to be tricky. It's not going to be easy, and you just need to stick to your rules. So when the market is very wacky and wonky, it's going to keep you in the plays. Now, there are going to be times where price will be super violent. And let's just say, let's find an example. Don't know if I'll be able to find an example. Okay. Oh, well, wait, hold on. I'll just draw it. I'll actually just draw it. Okay. So let's say here's your trend. Okay. You want a short. Here's your gap. Price comes down and closes on the 1 minute time frame. Okay. Now you're in a short. Let's just say for the sake of your argument, you're in a short because you inverse bearish. Now, let's say it's a 1 minute, you're on the 1 minute chart. So let's say 20 seconds go by, there's 40 seconds left in the candle. Let's say by that time, price is already up here. It already reversed and it's in your stop loss zone. There's 40 seconds left in the candle. So what are you going to do? If you really hold it for 40 seconds and try to see if it's actually going to close or not, in the next 40 seconds, we could pump even higher. And now your loss is going to be so much bigger than you intended it to be, right? Because instead of only losing 10 points on the play, if you held it for the full 40 seconds, it closes over here. Now you're losing 30 or 40. You can make those losses super big. So that's going to be a situation where you need to make a split time decision where you're just going to say, hey, is there a way I can find an invalidation area, maybe a swing high above my stop loss zone, or like a high in general that I'll just get out. I'll place a hard stop there. And that's going to be a tough situation you're going to have to make because that will happen, especially when price is aggressive, violent, being manipulative. You're going to have to make a decision for yourself. So it's pretty much what I do. If I enter a short right here on a 1 minute and with 40 seconds or 30 seconds left in the candle, price is already in my stop loss zone, I say, okay, can I find a swing high? Here's a swing high. If this breaks, no matter what, I'm going to get out. And, I might get manipulated. It might hit that high and go all the way back down to my entry, but I can't afford to hold this for 40 seconds and take that loss. You understand what I'm saying? So really, most of the time, 90% of the time, I try to hold for a candle close, but you're going to have that 10% of the time where you need to be ready. And you're going to have to make a split decision whether you want to keep holding and risk the big loss or get out with a manual stop. So that's really how I do stop losses. In terms of gap sizes and stop losses, I really tend to like 8 to 15. You can even extend it to 20 point gaps. Anything smaller than 8, I find very low probability, because what's going to happen is when you have violent and manipulative price action, the candles could really just inverse the gaps and go back and forth like it's not even there. If you have a gap that's like 3 to 4 points, price could just disrespect it, go right through the gap, but it's not actually going for a move in that direction. It's just wicking because of how violent and how much volume there is. Whereas if you have a 15-point gap, I know, let's see, this gap right here is 8, so it's really not even that big either. But when you have bigger size gaps, I know that if price is really going to move in that direction and inverse, it shouldn't, manipulate us and go the other way. You understand what I'm saying? So this gap right here is 5 points. So yeah, Friday's range was super, super small. I want to see if I can get a I mean, yeah, here's a good example. Let's see, how big is this gap? This gap might be too big. So yeah, this gap's 100 points. That's too big. You don't want to hold, you don't want to enter on a 100-point gap. Now you have to size super small because your stop loss would be a close, you know, above or below the 100-point gap, and that's just crazy. This is an 18-point gap. So I mean, this pretty much looks perfect. It looks textbook. It's clear and obvious, and that is the gap I'm looking for. Whereas something like this is a smaller gap. You know, this is only 10 points. It would be valid, but something like these gaps, look at these gaps. These gaps are insignificant to me. You see these small gaps here? They're way too tiny. They're a couple points. I'm not interested in entering on those gaps. 8 to 20 points is really the range I look for. I don't want anything to be smaller than that because, you know, price could just disrespect it and it's not valid. And I don't want anything bigger than that because now your stop loss is huge. You're only going to be able to size in with a couple micros and you just can't. It's just an awkward trade. It's just a really awkward trade. So something like this would be perfect for me. So again, look for 8 to 20 point gaps and you'll be just fine.